Hi, this is IK. Welcome to number 2, 3, 4, 5, because that number is altogether in index.js, number 2. This is index.js. Who did call index.js? Index.js was called by index.html. Index.js built our React Redux application from zero to final product to see on the screen. How? All elements what exist in our React Redux application is here. React element app. Here it is a React element as HTML element. Here is a script. Only it is capital letter in begin, not small letters like HTML element. React element app write it like this, like HTML element. It is self-closed, you see. It is calling, it is how we call component. It is calling a foundation component app, and that component have child, etc., etc. But it is calling component app. Who call component app? Foundation component app. Who call it? It call provider React element again. React element. Who scribe React? Who write script of provider React element? Write. Look it coming from package React Redux. React Redux import provider. And because provider coming from React Redux, a role of that React element is connect React and Redux. And this element provider, look at start tag, here it is, and end tag. It is not self-closed. And there is inside of that tags is app element. And this is calling of provider React element. This is calling app inside of that provider. Provider element wrap our component app, React component app. And here happened connection and installation of Redux React connection in application React Redux. And now we know this is how we call app element, app component. Here is how we call provider React element. And who calls store? How we call store? Store is properties of provider. And here it is equal in curly brackets store. It means that something exists, and exists of course in here. Here is a store. What we write that code back to index.js, and this is calling also. It is a calling of store what we script in this file store. In this file store, function configure store, name of that function said what to build. Build configure store. And store is a central element of a Redux. That store inside is a state. Inside we have only one properties, it is post reducer. Post reducer coming from post slice. Complete post slice is this, it is post reducer, because here it is import post reducer from post slice. Configure store function coming from newest version of Redux. It is Redux.js /toolkit. And from that Redux /toolkit, we received all function what we need. Here it is function configure store. And here is configure store, and store equal posts equal reducer, and that object reducer have only one properties. Here it is properties posts, and the value of that properties post is post reducer. Total equal post slice. Post slice configure post reducer. Who call provider? Provider call this root.render, and render is method of root, and in parameter is provider, and root.render is command to start our React Redux application. How start to build complete architecture, and after that we can see our application on the screen. And you see it is parameter, and when started this function render, starting it is calling parameter, calling provider React element provider. It is React, we can better say React Redux element. But it is a React element because we write React element like this, like HTML element. Here is app React element. And root.render, root is foundation of our React application. Foundation of our React application. And the React application root there is a method render, and here is starting our React application. But in that starting, when I remove provider element and starting only app, it would be only React application. It would not be Redux also. Because of that, we have here provider as a wrap around app. React application, metaphor of React application is app, we can see. And provider is connection Redux to React application. What is root? Root is foundation. It is font software for our React application. How we build that root? Look at for that we must have document in HTML, index.html. We must have element through which we see actual document object model. Actual document object model. You see, we have single page document object model, and I always spoke and talk about actual document object model. And how we code it. Create container, variable container, equal document. What is document? Document is index.html. Index.html, here is a document. And that document, there is a method get element by ID. Very, very clear what that method do. Get element by ID and parameter is ID root. It means that container equal in index.html. Can we remember? Do you remember index.html? That container is this HTML element in index.html. Back ID equals root. Through that element, we will see actual document object model. We will see document object model of page what is on the screen in that moment. And back to JS, index.js. Here is declaration of variable or object equal element, that element on HTML, index.html. Okay. After that, we create object root equal create root. Create root parameter is container. Parameter is a variable container, object container. It is element, div element with ID equal root. Here is declaration of container. Here is declaration of root, and create root make a lot of job for us. Create complete fundament for React application. Root is our React application, and that React application would be visible result, product of React application, and it is component, would be visible in our div ID root in object container. And when it is very, very important create root. Create root, you see, create root coming from React DOM client package. Store coming from here, app coming from here, React coming from here, and I said all relevant in this page. And all that after import in this very little code create our fundament of our React application. And that basic React application fundamental root dot render. And it is processing. Import what we need, declaration root, declaration container, declaration root, and root.render our application upload. And after, in this moment, in this point, we will see our React application on the screen, result of the React application on the screen. After all this, here is a step 5, 3, 4, 5. Step 6 is about rendering, app rendering. In next video, I will talk about app rendering. App, there is a child component, and all about rendering app and child components. It's all about index.js. Calling, how call, who call who, how call. Calling here is here. Here script is for calling element, React element, calling React element, calling React element. But here is a properties store, a calling store. Curly brackets means it is concretely. We coding store we coding APP, what we want to show in our React Redux application, and we coding this. But all that is very, very short, and it is declarative programming, functional programming. Functional programming, object equal function, create root function, parameter container. Here is container, object container equal method is function, document dot get element by ID. It is method what would be the most popular in vanilla JavaScript, because you must get element by ID and manipulate with it. In that time, it was only what we need from JavaScript, but after version JavaScript 6, we have a big job with JavaScript. Okay, it is a functional programming, and declarative programming also create root, create all possible for us. In some next version, I think that all this would be only one calling. It would be only one row, because all that can go in background to not visible to us. It is process with the declarative, in which declarative programming go, and because of that is confusion for a beginner, because what is it? Who built it? Where it is? For example, now we don't see in index.html, we don't see calling. We don't see calling index. Here it is. We don't see script in which we call index.js. Why? It is not needed in declarative programming. It is calling in background. Also, for this index.js, all this what I see now altogether can be one row, because it is not my creativity like in programming before, when you must create all from scratch, object, what is object inheritance, etc., etc. But here this object is equal this function and all finished, and this root object is create root and all finished. But it is very short and don't unclear. But I hope after my video that you understand this and would not be confused. Now, when you know that React is by default confused and must be learned and practiced, and after that to see usefulness of React Redux. Thank you for watching this video.